The Eagles just got some surprising news from training camp, and it changes everything, as Lane Johnson made an unexpected announcement about his future, while for the rookie Markel Bell, the expectations for him just skyrocketed. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts and the offense continued to make major progress, while Saquon Barkley added to the Dontayvion Wicks hype, Darius Cooper continues to shine, and so do Jalen Carter and several other players on defense. Plus, we got some injury news on Cam Jurgens, while Howie Roseman quieted some of the concern on Makai Lemon's injury, while he also hinted that another move could be coming soon. So let's talk about that and everything else from the last few days of Eagles training camp starting right now. So Eagles training camp is continuing to roll on, and one thing is becoming clear. Jalen Hurts is feeling completely rejuvenated going into this new season. I mean, we've talked about this a ton already this offseason, but QB1 seems to be smiling more than ever. He's been putting in a ton of off-the-field work with his teammates. He's been cracking jokes at his press conferences. He just seems to be in such a good headspace going into this new year. And as far as this new offense goes, Jalen seems to be fully bought into that as well and making great progress already. And ESPN's Tim McManus only confirmed that recently in an appearance on 97.5 The Fanatic.
I'm also sensing a drastic change with Jalen Hurts, the person. Have you seen that as well, where he seems a little bit lighter?
I sense a lot of energy from him, Bill. Most of the days have been install days. So it's like brand new stuff that they're running. So if people want to say, oh, the offense is looking clunky. Well, yeah. It's the first time they've been out there running some of these plays. It's going to look clunky. Monday was a review day where they got to go over some of the stuff that had already been previously installed. And it was, not surprisingly, the best day that they had as an offense, and it was the best day for Jalen Hurts. And within that, there was a sequence where Hurts ended up throwing a pick six to Quinyon Mitchell. The reason he did that is because Elijah Moore cut off his route where he shouldn't have. Hurts throws it, Mitchell gets it, goes the other way. A couple plays later, Hurts finds Moore deep down the seam, and he unleashes one perfect. Moore gets it for a big gainer, and Hurts gets as animated as we see him get. And he said the reason was that is because it showed a bounce-back ability for this offense, that Moore made a mistake, the offense sputtered, and they were able to come back and score in a big way. And so, yeah, he's got this attack mentality. I think it looks like he's rejuvenated in some ways. He's definitely lasered in on what they're doing. I think it's all encouraging for the Eagles.
There is no doubt in my mind that Jalen is going to really benefit from playing in this new offense. I mean, it is brand new to him, so there obviously will be growing pains, which we've already seen during camp. But again, Hurts is rejuvenated, he's in a great headspace, he's fully bought into this new system. And notice that on the day that they had a lot of review stuff in, Hurts absolutely lit it up. He went 14 for 16 that day, and the offense won practice. So, yeah, I'm super optimistic about Hurts and the offense this year, and I really only expect Philly's QB to get even better playing in this new system. And Nick Foles seems to agree with that, as the Philly legend just did a segment on his podcast where he ranked the quarterbacks around the league, and he gave Hurts some very well-deserved respect.
We have him higher than probably most people, and we did a lot of discussions about this. And listen, we had him in elite based on his statistics throughout his career, throughout his games. He's going to go down as the greatest Eagles quarterback of all time. And the reason he's in elite contenders for me is like he's proven it. I feel like he's shown he can win a Super Bowl. He's taken the team to 2 Super Bowls. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's a great leader. He brings it every day. You can tell by training camp, like the respect he has in the locker room, what he's doing. He deserves to be in this elite contender. And the reason I have him here and not elite is he's going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with most of what Foles said there. I agree that Jalen will go down as the greatest Eagles quarterback of all time when it's all said and done. I agree that he's only going to get better. The only thing that I would change is that I would put Hurts in tier 1 elite already, but I do understand why Foles ranked him where he did, and I'm not really mad at it. Again, though, I'm just so excited to see what Hurts is going to do this year in this new look offense, because I got a feeling it's going to be electric. Speaking of which, the man himself, Shawn Mannion, recently went on WIP, where he talked about what it's going to be like calling plays for the first time, and given his prior experience as an NFL quarterback, it sounds like he's going to be a natural at it.
How long do you think it'll take you to feel comfortable in the play calling role?
Yeah, I think the play calling will be, even just the move the ball periods, we call it move the ball, where it's not scripted. You can already, and I already felt more comfortable day 2 than day 1 just with the substitutions. I think what helps me is that I've received that communication from the play caller. Having played the position, I know what I wanted it to sound like coming into the quarterback. Calm, smooth communication. You're not frantic. You're not giving too much. but you're giving a little reminder. So I think I've really been comfortable with the communication of the quarterback.
Again, I have confidence that Mannion is going to be a natural when it comes to play calling. I mean, everything we've heard about this new offense has been overwhelmingly positive. Everything we've heard about Mannion as a coach and just as an offensive mind has been very, very positive as well. Like, everyone's saying he's super smart. Jordan Mailata called him an evil genius. I think he'll be great when it comes to play calling and play sequencing and that whole part of the job in general, especially since, again, he is a former quarterback and he knows how the signal caller wants the calls to come in. Now, as far as whether he's going to be on the field or up in the booth, Mannion says he still hasn't decided on that yet, but I'm sure with the preseason right around the corner, we'll get our answer on that soon enough. Now, moving on, but sticking with the offense, one guy that's obviously been getting a ton of hype recently is the new wide receiver Dontayvion Wicks. As the former Packer has been lighting it up in practice recently, his chemistry with Jalen Hurts is off the charts, and now Saquon Barkley just added to that hype as he said this on K. Adams' show.
Tay is a steal. Yes. I don't like speaking, too high because I don't want to put too much pressure, but like this guy can handle it, and I love everything that he's about. Shout out to Howie again. I don't know how we got him for whatever round we traded for, but it's just not even like he just brings like a different type of energy for the wide receiver group, and not just he's a violent route runner and he's violent catching the ball, but he also put his face in there and block at a high level. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have him as a teammate this year.
He's just awesome, okay?
Safe to say the hype for Wicks is real, and with the way Barkley is talking about him there, like, it's hard for me to not believe that Wicks is going to be a huge part of the offense this year. I mean, obviously, we got a crowded wide receiver room, and we still don't know what we're going to get from Makai Lemon as a rookie, but dude, with the way everyone's talking about Wicks and how well he's performed at camp, I feel like I could see him going for 500, 600, 700 plus yards this year. And yes, we are still early. We have no idea what Wicks' role is going to be and how much he's going to be used in comparison to someone like a Makai Lemon, for example. So still a lot to be determined, but I'm saying that Wicks clearly has that kind of upside, maybe even better than that. Like, Nick Sirianni continues to compare him to Keenan Allen. He actually just did it again on K. Adams' show. So, not saying he's on that level. All I am saying is I think he's a really solid and talented player. I think he's got tremendous upside, and I am certainly fired up about him and just excited to see how Shawn Mannion decides to use him this year. And honestly, same applies to the training camp star Darius Cooper, because the amount of praise that he's been getting recently is right on par with Wicks, and on Friday, he only added to that hype with how he looked in practice, as once again, Cooper stole the show. As Dave Zangaro noted that he was having another great day of practice, Brandon Lee Gowden noted that he had a couple nice receptions from Tanner McKee, and he's, quote, clearly a stud. Plus, on top of that, Cooper continues to get in work with the first-team offense, and he was the recipient of the play of the day from Jalen Hurts. That being a throw early in practice where Hurts zipped one over the middle of the field in a tight window to Cooper for a chunk gain. And again, this is not the first great play or great practice that Cooper has had this camp. He's been absolutely amazing all summer. And I feel like at this point, he clearly has to be on track to not only make this roster, but maybe even have a role in this offense. Like, as crowded as this Eagles wide receiver room is, he's just playing so well. And if he continues that, it's hard to keep guys like that off the field. So shout out to him. Drop a like down below for his performance. Let's see if we can get to at least 500 likes today. And I'm definitely rooting for him. And also, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you had to pick one between Darius Cooper or Johnny Wilson, who would you keep on the roster? Again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And speaking of Wilson, he apparently had a pretty good day as well, as at one point he caught a back shoulder fade for a touchdown over Jonathan Jones from Tanner McKee, who, by the way, he also had his best day of practice on Friday, as he got a chance to start in 11-on-11s over Andy Dalton, and he made the most of it. Like I said, he had that nice touchdown to Wilson, he had a few nice connections with Cooper, and he just had an overall solid day. So that's definitely very noteworthy as McKee continues to battle it out with Andy Dalton, especially since the vet has apparently outperformed him so far. So this was a really important day for McKee. And then as for Jalen Hurts, it was a really great day for him as well. He went 9 for 11 on his throws in what was just another solid day for the offense. It wasn't necessarily a day filled with highlights, but Hurts was efficient. According to Ryan Fowler, he continues to just get more and more confident in the new offense with each practice, and the changes to the offense continue to be on full display, as Hurts is making throws on play-action rollouts and bootlegs and just things of that nature. So overall, I love what I heard about Jalen Hurts in the offense during Friday's practice, and keep in mind they are still without guys like Devontae Smith and Makai Lemon, who are both still dealing with hamstring issues. And also, speaking of injury news, this is what the Birds' full injury report looked like. Again, like I said, Smitty and Lemon were out with hamstrings, along with Britton Covey, Keyshawn James Newby, and Cole Wisniewski. They were all out as well with various issues. And then Chance Campbell, Micah Morris, and Lane Johnson were limited. And yes, that's right, Lane Johnson was back at practice after missing 4 straight sessions for personal reasons. So obviously, fantastic news to get him back out on the practice field. Still, though, he was not participating in team drills, as the Eagles are slowly working him back into things and trying to manage his workload a bit. So Markel Bell, once again, was the one taking the first team reps at right tackle over Fred Johnson. So, I don't know, like, obviously, we still got a long ways to go, but this is now the 3rd straight practice where Bell has taken first team reps over Fred Johnson. So, it's looking more and more like the rookie could be the favorite to win that backup swing tackle job. But we'll just, we'll have to see how it continues to play out throughout the rest of camp. Either way, though, Bell has been getting a lot of positive buzz recently, and Ryan Fowler actually said on Friday that, quote, Markel Bell looks smooth and easy, mixes up looks with his feet/punch timing, excellent in pass pro. Which that lines up with what Nick Sirianni said before practice, that being that Bell is extremely hard to get around in pass protection. So overall, very excited about Bell and his potential, and at least to me, he is one of the clear players to watch during this preseason. Now staying on the offensive line, we do actually have some injury news to talk about from Friday's session, as Cam Jurgens went down with some sort of injury, went to the medical tent, and then after, he walked back inside.
This is fine.
Now hold on, let's not freak out. Jurgens was seen walking completely under his own power and did not appear to be hindered at all. So I'm going to choose to be optimistic about this. Obviously, it's not ideal news, especially since Cam was banged up all last season and looked much worse off because of it. But for now, until we know more, I'm not going to freak out. And as I'm recording this section of the video on Friday, I'm sure we will get an update from practice tomorrow, which I'll cover a little bit later in the video. So stay tuned for that. Now, Jake Majors was the one that replaced Jurgens with the first team offense, which I'm surprised it wasn't Drew Kendall, so I guess that's very much worth noting. And it's also worth noting that the guys on the defensive line continue to perform well. Jordan Davis got a sack early in practice on Jalen Hurts, and apparently got right around Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens. Personally, I'm super excited about JD and think he's going to have a great year rushing the passer. Expect a career high in sacks from him. Also, Arnold Ebiketie apparently put his great inside spin on full display, which Ryan Fowler noted is very violent and very quick. He won on that move multiple times on Friday. And then Jalen Carter continues to bat down passes as he did all last season and all camp so far. Apparently, that's already his 4th one of camp, which is just crazy. And then Uar Bernard actually flashed a little bit in 1v1s, specifically one time walking center Willie Lampkin 6 yards into the backfield. Now yes, huge historically athletic defensive tackle versus a historically small center. There's a clear advantage there in physical stature, but also a huge disadvantage for Bernard in experience level. So, love to see that he's continuing to make strides, even if he's a long way away. And overall, just super excited about this defensive line as a whole, and can't wait to see what they're going to do this year. Flipping back over to the offensive side of the ball and Makai Lemon, though, yes, it's obviously not super ideal that he's injured right now and missing valuable time in training camp, but I think what Howie Roseman said on Kay Adams' show should go a long way in helping to calm some of the fans' worries.
I talked to him the other day, and I reminded him of a rookie who was banged up in training camp a couple of years ago. His name was Cooper DeJean. You know him?
I do.
And, he didn't play till our 3rd preseason game. He didn't practice till then. He got hurt. He was hurt kind of through the draft process, got hurt during our mini camps. And, just turned out to have a phenomenal rookie season. And so it is a marathon this season, and so many things are going to happen. And so for us, just keeping our head in it and understanding from Makai that first game and last game, let's make sure that he's in a great spot to play really well in the first game and last game and can contribute to this team because we're going to need him.
Chillax.
That's honestly the perfect way to put things in perspective. Because Howie's right, Coop missed pretty much all of training camp his rookie year and was banged up all offseason, yet when he finally got in there, he immediately became a star and has since never looked back. So, while again, it's certainly not ideal that Makai is missing this time right now and that he honestly wasn't even making that much noise before going out with the injury, who's to say that he doesn't come back, whenever that may be, have some growing pains, but ultimately have a great rookie season? I think that's very much within the realm of possibility, so not too worried there. And you know what? Something else that's within the realm of possibility is Howie Roseman going out and making another move during camp, which is something that Howie himself actually teased on Kay Adams' show.
Yet you did say that this roster is a work in progress and that it's incomplete. You know what you're doing to fans. When you say something like that, what are you cooking?
Well, I think that you're constantly looking. You're constantly looking to improve. We can't ask our players to do it. We can't ask our coaches to continue to do it and not do it from a front office perspective. So, if opportunities come about that will make us better, we got to look at it. We owe that to our team, to our players, to our fans, to our owner. And there will be an opportunity at some point, whether it's looking at cuts, whether it's looking at trades. And that's fun. It's fun. It's fun to do those and to have those calls. And so,
I would never answer the phone if you called.
That's not cool. Whatever we have now, something's going to change. And in all our best teams, there have been some opportunities to acquire players. Whether it's in June, whether it's in August, whether it's at the trade deadline. And so we'll keep looking for those opportunities. And if they come about, it's no reflection on what we feel about the other guys here. It's just trying to improve.
I'd honestly be more surprised if Howie didn't make a move. I mean, as Anthony DeBona pointed out, Howie's made at least one trade every August since 2021, and in total, they've made 12 trades in August the past 5 years. So, again, I would be shocked if they didn't make a move. It's just a matter of for who and when.
Make a move!
I'm sure we'll find out soon enough, but in the meantime, just know that Howie is always looking for chances to improve the roster. But you know what? As is, this current roster seems to have a lot of chemistry, and they're just together, man. Like Nick Sirianni said at the start of training camp, 100% alignment, 0% entitlement. And that's something that he reiterated on Kay Adams' show, while maybe unintentionally taking a little bit of a shot at A.J. Brown.
Alignment is so critical. I think, when you can get the entire team, coaches, players, everybody in the building, front office, pulling in the same direction, and that's a huge thing in team sports, and we play and coach the ultimate team sport there is. And you just get a couple guys that are pulling against that direction, it makes an effect.
You see how this looks, right?
Look, did Nick mean anything by this comment? Maybe not. But it is clear after last year that A.J. Brown was semi-checked out for much of the season. Like, he wasn't in alignment, per se. So, again, I got a lot of love for A.J. Brown. I very much appreciate what he did in his time here. Like, he was one of my favorite players, but, after everything that went down last year and just how it all played out, it was time to move on. And again, I'm feeling really, really good about the togetherness and alignment of this team here in 2026. And you know what? Nick Sirianni is a huge reason for that. Moving on to Saturday's practice, though, we just got some absolutely huge news, as not only did Lane Johnson return to team drills, which is a good sign, but he also spoke to the media for the first time since his absence, and sadly, he revealed that this year is probably going to be his final season.
Looking like, man, this is potentially going to be my last year. Those priorities, away from football are starting to merge. Not that I don't enjoy, I love everything about this game, but that's kind of where I'm at. It's lucky, man, not everybody lands at a good organization where you have success and you have the ability to stack year upon year. So I'm really fortunate. I'm trying to soak in these last 6 months, 7 months. As far as my focus here, man, it's with the Eagles, it's playing. I still feel I can be a premier tackle in this league. I just need to stay healthy and keep stacking days.
I don't know about you guys, but I am not ready for Lane to retire yet. I mean, the guy's an Eagles legend, one of the best players to ever wear the midnight green. He's been here for so long, man, and he's still playing at an extremely high level.
I am not ready to be without you.
I don't know, man. I don't want this to be his last year, but, I do completely understand his reasoning as to why he's thinking about stepping away. He wants to spend more time with his family. He also mentioned that his parents are having health issues, so prayers up to them. And he is definitely also getting up there in age. So, you got to respect the decision. And now we just got to hope that, assuming this is his last year, the Eagles can send him out the right way with a Super Bowl ring. And also, now, with us knowing that Lane's career is coming to an end, that makes the development of Markel Bell even more crucial. I mean, this really changes everything at this point in camp, because now, when we see Markel Bell getting those first team reps at right tackle, we might be getting a glimpse into the future. Those first team reps immediately become so much more important because at this point, I think it's clear that Bell is the Birds' succession plan for Lane when he does retire. So If that's after this year, then Bell is just 1 year away from being the starter at right tackle, or at the very least, competing to earn that spot. So again, all the first team reps that he's getting now are extremely important, and luckily, Lane himself actually did give the rookie rave reviews when asked about him during his presser.
He's one of the best rookies I've been around, just as far as being in the playbook. No complaining. Haven't heard him complain one time. And just he's always asking questions. So just a really mature young man, handles stuff off the field well. He's just always asking questions. And you can tell he was coached up well at Miami. And yeah, man, I see a guy with that size and that ability and that wingspan and movement. He can have a lot of success in this business.
I mean, that's certainly some incredibly high praise from Lane Johnson. For him to say that Bell is one of the best rookies that he's ever been around, you can't take that lightly. And again, the Eagles seem to be very, very high on Bell. I'm sure that they've known kind of what Lane's plan is, going back to way earlier in the offseason, at least much more informed than we've been. So there's a pretty good chance that back when they picked Bell in the draft, they knew there was a solid chance that he could be contending to be a starter in just a year's time. And everything that we've heard and seen from him since he arrived here just goes to show you that the Eagles do think, again, very, very highly of him. The fact that it's looking like he's going to beat out Fred Johnson in the backup swing tackle battle, despite the fact that Fred has been very, very good in that role for the past 2 years, I think that says a lot. Which, by the way, Lane was still a bit limited at practice. He was actually on a pitch count in terms of his team reps. So, once again, it was Bell who got to rotate in with the first team and not Fred Johnson. So, the hopes are high for Markel Bell. And with Lane's career winding down, every rep that the rookie gets now in training camp, the preseason, or maybe even in the regular season, depending on what happens, they become even more crucial. So, fingers crossed, hopefully he can become that player that the Eagles are hoping he can be. Oh, and also, back to Lane Johnson real quick. Here's to hoping that he can go out on top, not just in terms of winning another Super Bowl, but also in the form of actually getting the respect that he deserves, because he's been getting shafted in some of these rankings all offseason long, whether it's the ESPN survey and now the NFL Top 100. Technically, we don't know, but it looks like he's not going to make that list, which, that's ridiculous. The fact that this future Hall of Famer, who has given up just 10 sacks in the last 12 years, is getting disrespected the way he has, it's crazy, and he's certainly taken note of it as well.
I think you look at systems. What are you asked to do? This last system, man, I feel like this system allows you to play freely. You have inside guard help. You're not worried about getting beat. You're on the island. And so, man, with rankings and stuff, I take offense to some of it. I mean, I see guys that gave up a lot of quarterback hits last year, Pro Bowl, All Pros, and I'm like, I've seen a lot of All Pros in the past, and usually they have a flawless performance in the pass game as long as in the run game. And so I don't know if standards are being lower or perception or analytics are getting in the way, but there's also film. And so, some of these guys, I don't think it's all what it's meant to be. I see a lot of people getting hit, quarterbacks getting hit in the pass game. So
I love that Lane is pissed off by this. And, maybe this gives him just that little bit of extra motivation going into the season. Not saying he needs it, but, regardless of what anyone says, I think Lane is the best tackle in football, and he's about to prove it this year. Now, moving along the offensive line, we did get some good news Saturday, as Cam Jurgens was back at practice after going out yesterday, but then we also got some bad news, as he headed back inside early for the second straight day. Once again,
this is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Good news is there was no visible limp or anything like that, but after last year and the injuries that Cam dealt with for the entire season, that sure, maybe you couldn't always visibly see it, but clearly it affected his play significantly. It's not great to see him continuing to deal with ongoing injuries during training camp now this year. Now, I'm still not going to panic. My hope is that this is nothing and he's going to be fully good to go. Doesn't hinder him at all. But I won't lie. This isn't exactly what you want to see. So fingers crossed, Cam is good and it's nothing major, but, we'll see what happens. And then also another interesting note, it was Drew Kendall actually replacing Cam on Saturday, like I thought should have been the case on Friday. So again, that's noteworthy. But, Cam, no Cam, it didn't really make much of a difference for the defensive line, who continue to dominate as training camp goes on, especially Jalen Carter, who just continues to make splash plays every single practice. As on Saturday, there was a moment where Carter swam around Cam Jurgens to bat down yet another Jalen Hurts pass, as he's done all summer long. He also had a rep where he blew past Tyler Steen to set up a Moro Jomo sack. So overall, just another very disruptive day for Jalen Carter. And Brandon Lee Gowton just said something really exciting. Quote, Jalen Carter seems poised for a monster year. He's been dominant in camp. So, definitely looking forward to seeing what Carter has in store this year. Like Gowton said, it seems like a monster season could be on the horizon. And same goes for edge rusher Jalyx Hunt, who Fran Duffy pointed out looks to be much improved this season, along with the second-year linebacker Jihaad Campbell. So definitely fired up about both those players. I've said this offseason that I expect both of those guys to take a huge leap forward, and it sounds like they're headed in the right direction. And Duffy also said that despite some people talking about the Eagles' safety spot like it was a weakness going into training camp, just judging by these first couple weeks, it certainly does not look that way. So that's all very noteworthy, very exciting to hear that, it looks like the safety position's okay. Again, Howie Roseman teased a potential move, so who knows what that could look like and what position that could be for, but overall, things are looking good on defense at this point in training camp. But I can't lie, the most exciting storyline for me at Eagles training camp continues to be Jalen Hurts and this new look offense. And at this point, they clearly seem to be trending up and have made a ton of progress from the start of camp less than just 2 weeks ago, and the improvements were on full display on Saturday, as it was the first full scrimmage period of the summer, meaning that the first team offense and first team defense got multiple full field drives to go against each other, and Hurts and the offense did not disappoint, as they consistently moved the ball pretty well, and Jalen Hurts reportedly just continues to look better and better and more comfortable in this new offense. He seems to have the under center down pretty well. He's thrown over the middle of the field more and more comfortably. ESP even said that he doesn't think it could be going any better for Jalen than when it comes to those two things. Hurts also reportedly made a couple nice over-the-middle throws on Saturday, including a really nice anticipation throw to Dontayvion Wicks, which that's not the only throw that he made to Wicks on Saturday. Those two really look like they've developed a strong connection there. Hurts also had a really crazy play to Elijah Moore where he rolled out, threw it on the run, and Moore came down with a contested catch. And then Hurts also had 3 touchdowns on the day, including one on 4th and 3 to Hollywood Brown, where he hit him and ran in for the score. He also hit Elijah Moore for a quick 2-yard touchdown. And then his best touchdown throw was to Dallas Goedert, as he rolled out and found him down the field in the front corner of the end zone over Jihaad Campbell for the touchdown. And overall, Hurts finished the day 11 for 17 on his throws with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. That pick obviously being the only blemish. That came towards the end of practice. He threw it to Zach Bond in the middle of the field. Obviously not ideal for Hurts, but a nice play from Bond who dove for the interception. And I'm not going to react to one training camp pick. Overall, it was a really good day for Hurts in the offense, and clearly they are trending in the right direction. So absolutely gotta love that. Overall, just another, again, really exciting day for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense. The defense still, I guess, technically edged them out according to reports, but that's not really what I care about. What I care about is that the offense is getting better and trending in the right direction. And so far, just in these, less than 2 weeks of camp, they have clearly made major strides. They're significantly better than where they were on day one. That's exactly what you want to see. So super excited about that. Also, by the way, one more note about the offense, the tush push, brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, Shawn Mannion confirmed that it is not going anywhere. So that's exactly what I wanted to hear. Obviously, last year it didn't go as well, so hopefully they bounce back with it, along with the rest of the Eagles offense in 2026. And also a couple other notes from practice. Darius Cooper made another highlight catch, once again, on the sideline falling out of bounds. Technically, the refs did rule him out, so it was incomplete, but still a cool play as he continues to flash. Also, Eli Stowers had a bad drop, but then he bounced back with a nice catch with the twos. Not really too concerned about him. He's just, going to keep growing. It's very early in his career. Jihaad Campbell also had a great practice, and on one play, he was able to toss Cam Jurgens in the run game, so very cool again. I expect big things from him this year. And also, Willie Lampkin, really impressed in 1v1s to the point where he has moved up to the twos for a period of time, so all very cool stuff. But all that said, guys, I'm curious to hear your biggest takeaway from these past 2 practices down in the comments below. And what do you think about the Lane Johnson news? Do you think that Markel Bell can step up and become that starter by next season, say? Just let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And also, if you don't want to miss any more Eagles training camp coverage or content, make sure you guys subscribe and you turn on notifications. And drop a like down below to show some support, because it really does help me out so much. Let's see if we can get to at least 500 likes today. That would be greatly appreciated. Also, hit the hype button, because that helps me out a ton as well. And if you do want to watch another Eagles video going over their last practice from training camp before these past 2 days, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.